Now we're going to talk about pepper spray, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So when we talk about pepper spray, in order to carry pepper spray here in the state of California, you have to be 16 years of age or older. You can carry up to 2 ounces per container. You're allowed to have multiple containers of live agent on you, but it is limited to 2 ounces per container. Now, when we get into selecting pepper spray, you're going to see a lot of marketing ploys and things like that, where I've seen companies go, well, our product has 1 million Scoville heat units. What's a Scoville heat unit? If you've ever watched Hot Ones on YouTube, one of my favorite shows, the Scoville heat unit actually just measures how spicy a pepper is. It has absolutely nothing to do with how spicy pepper spray is. The next marketing thing you'll see is they're going to sit there and tell you the percentage of OC that is in the product. Does not matter. What we are truly looking for to measure its spiciness is the percentage of MC or major capsaicin. Now, there's different products out there that employ in different ways. So let's talk about them and go over the pros and cons of each. So the first one is going to be pepper spray. And what do you think pepper spray does? It sprays, okay? Now, pros and cons of pepper spray. The upside of pepper spray, it works in about half a second. It is very effective. It's swelling and making that person shut their eyes and water up in tear and not be able to have clear vision. Little bit of a downside to pepper spray is maybe some environmental factors, right? The wind might be blowing, it might be raining. So when we talk about pepper spray, I might need to be able to deal with this unknown contact and get myself in a better position where I'm not downwind, maybe I'm crosswind where the wind's blowing side to side, or maybe the wind is at my back blowing towards that person that's showing me threat attack indicators. Next, we get into pepper gel. Well, the upside of pepper gel is you get a lot less environmental factors with pepper gel. And it is a stream, but it's kind of jelly in form. So wind, rain doesn't affect it as much. The downside of pepper gel, I have seen pepper gel take up to 45 seconds to take effect on its intended target. Next, we get bear spray. And what do you think bear spray is? It's for bears, right? It's what we call a fogger, okay? So with bear spray, I don't recommend it for self-defense. It's just gonna release this big old cloud of agent. Now, the upside is bear spray is usually pressurized a little bit heavier, and you can get about 15 to 20 yards from certain bear sprays out there. The big downside for bear spray, because it's a fogger and it's just a big cloud of agent, huge environmental factors where I have seen bear spray get cut in half for distance due to wind, or you could easily cross-contaminate yourself with bear spray. Now, as a self-defender, I have made the choice to use Palm Industries pepper spray. The reason I have chose Palm is for a couple different reasons. Number one, it is 1.4% major capsaicin. This is the spiciest stuff on the market. And I have lived the tale to prove it. I've been pepper sprayed numerous times in my life, and it wasn't from me being a jerk. I did the non-lethal course in the Marine Corps. I was lucky enough that I had a friend teaching his class called Pepper Spraying in the Park, where I got to be voluntold to be a test dummy. And so back in 2019, I didn't really have an issue with it because when we talk about pepper spray, once you've been sprayed and you know the effects It still sucks, don't get me wrong, but you know what to expect. So in that, I got sprayed by Palm for the first time, and it was a horrible life decision, right? It was by far spicier than things that I have trained with in non-lethal courses in the Marine Corps, and it was a horrible life decision. Now, if you ever contaminate or cross-contaminate yourself with pepper spray, the easiest way to decontaminate, okay? Dawn dish soap in cold water, we're gonna wash, we're gonna rub, we're gonna rinse. From there, I'm gonna try to get Johnson & Johnson baby shampoo, wash, rinse, and then try to get to a cool, dry place where you're not gonna sweat, you're not gonna open up pores. I highly recommend not showering for about 2 days because gravity is a thing. And if you go to get in the shower, hot water, heat, sweat, things like that, you're gonna open up your pores and reactivate the agent. Now, the thing I love about Palm, it is food grade. And what that means is if you really wanted to put it on your tacos, you could put it on your tacos and eat it. But we see a lot of videos on the YouTubes and things like that where people get pepper sprayed and their immediate response is, I can't breathe. The nice thing about Palm being food grade, doesn't matter if you have asthma, a heart condition, anything like that. Typically what we see is when people sit there and say, I can't breathe, usually because they've never been pepper sprayed before, they don't know the effects, what to expect or anything like that. Usually it causes an anxiety or panic attack, which cause rapid breathing where they feel they're not able to be able to breathe. Now, the way we carry Palm. So these are the clip agents. I carry one of those pretty much anywhere I go. And these blue trainers, they have water and a little bit of baby oil in them. So these perform just like the real live agents, but we can train with these, we can practice with these. And you see how it's blue, it says practice, inert use only. So that way I can practice with something that isn't a live agent, okay? So the way we're gonna carry this on our body, if you look at the cap right there, it says Palm. And then we have our little clip guy, which we can adjust to the left and the right. Now, when you buy the clip model live agents, it's gonna come with a black band already on it. What I recommend is taking off this bottom clip. You'll have the black ring already on there. Select a second ring, put the second ring on it, because when you have 2 rings on there, it's gonna sit a little bit longer and it's gonna index a little bit better in our hand. Now, the color has absolutely no meaning. It's your own personal preference of color. If you want your pepper spray to match your shoes or your purse or anything like that. So if we're deciding to carry in our left pocket, we want to start with the clip on the same side as the P in Palm. If we're carrying it in our right side pocket, I'm going to turn the clip 180 degrees around, so that way I can carry it on my right side. Now, the way this works, I'm going to stick the tube and agent in my pocket. The clip is going to sit on the outside of my pocket and kind of hang out of my pocket. When I go to draw, I'm going to take my thumb, drive into my pocket, use my index finger on the top of the applicator, and draw it up into my hand. What I am trying to do indexing-wise is I'm trying to take this clip right here and get it right between my index fingers where they meet my palm. And then as I grip this, I'm trying to get this index finger right below this nub. That way, if I end up employing this, I'm not getting it on my finger or cross-contaminating me. Now to employ this, on the top there's a flip safety. All I'm gonna do is use my thumb to flip that top up and then press down to engage live agent. Now, some things we need to figure out is what pocket and what side of our body do we want to carry on, right? Everyone has a side of their body that they just prefer, okay? And I'm not saying one side's better than another side, but I want you to take a minute and think about some different ideas that I've come up with as a self-defender. So for me, typically in daylight hours, my palm pepper spray is in my support side pocket. I'm a right-handed shooter. My flashlight is always in my left side pocket. My knife is in my right side pocket. My firearm is typically at the appendix position on my right side. During daylight hours, I might need my flashlight, but probably not. I kind of like keeping non-lethal on one side, lethal on another side. So that way, if I have an issue, I can draw my pepper spray, but then if somehow that issue turns into, I need my gun, this is a lethal thing, I still have a free hand to get a hand on the gun. And then the minute I have to draw that gun, we need to remember to drop things in our hands. I teach some advanced classes where I will randomly put one of these in a student's hand and then give them the command to shoot. And what I find is they'll keep it in their hand, draw their gun, and leave it inside of their grip. Okay, so we have to remember to drop things. Now, in hours of darkness, I have made the decision that I will actually turn my clip around. I will keep my pepper spray in my right pocket. Okay, and part of the reason for that is we're 2,000 times more likely to need pepper spray in our life. And if I'm in hours of darkness, I might need that flashlight and my pepper spray, and I might need both of those objects in my hand. Because I'm not going to draw a flashlight and go, oh, I need pepper spray, let me drop my light, or switch it over to another hand. So I think in hours of darkness, it's an advantage to me to have this in my right pocket. So that way I can have a flashlight and pepper spray, but if I need the gun, I got to remember to drop this and then draw the gun. Also, anytime I walk my dog. So I have a service dog. His name's Captain. Totally awesome dog. And if he's working and he's working as a service dog, usually I have a leash that goes around my body. And I typically keep him on my left side. That way my right hand is free to draw a firearm. But if we're out and we're just going for our nightly walk and he's on his leash and he gets to run around and just be a dog, typically I will also put my pepper spray in my right pocket. At night, that's my jam, but even in daytime, if I have Captain on a retractable leash, because I'm holding that leash in my left hand, I want to be able to have the option of drawing my pepper spray. And that might not just be a threat. That might be maybe another animal is trying to attack or hurt my dog. It might be a coyote. I am not of the age anymore where I'm going to try to break up an aggressive dog from my dog and get bit. At that point, I'm probably just using pepper spray. Pepper spray can be used anything from a harsh word up until lethal force. Now, when I say a harsh word, I'm not just saying, you know, someone calls you a jerk or an a-hole or anything like that. If someone communicates a criminal threat of assault, you can definitely use pepper spray. That could be as simple as, you know, someone's like, that's my parking spot. And I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And then that person says he's going to slap the taste out of my mouth. That is justifiable means to use pepper spray, right? Now, we need a reasonable fear, so if it's some 10-year-old kid yelling at you, he's going to slap you in the face, probably not a big thing. But it has to be a reasonable, credible threat where you're in fear of just getting assaulted or getting battered. We can definitely use our pepper spray, okay? Now, Palm makes two different models. They make the clip model. This model I sell in class. This is typically what I carry on a daily basis. Now, the clip model has 1/2 ounce of agent. It will shoot about 10 feet, and you get 12 half-second bursts from this. This is the Palm Mark III. It has 1.8 ounces of agent. I sell these in class 2, but it's right under the California legal limit. Now the Mark IIIs work a little bit differently. With the Mark IIIs, you're gonna get 7 yards or 21 feet of distance from this, and you're gonna get 9 half-second bursts of live agent from this. So typically in my daily life, I'll sit there and carry the clip agent wherever I go. But maybe I'm going to a sensitive area like a park, playground, something like that. And I can't bring my gun, and I'll bring something a little bit bigger. Give me a little bit more distance. Give me a little more oomph. If I'm out walking my service dog captain on trails, I don't want to carry a bottle of bear spray. I'll definitely carry a Mark III. Another strategy and tactic that I've used in my life is I've realized that having a clip agent in my pocket in a seated position in my car, my seatbelt makes it very difficult to be able to get this out of my pocket. So I have a Palm Mark III sitting right there in my door jamb. The Mark III is a little bit harder to carry, but not totally out of the question. But if it's just something sitting in my car, why not have the bigger one with the little bit greater distance? In case I am sitting in my car, the window's rolled down, and I'm starting to have an incident at my window, instead of me trying to get my pepper spray out of my pocket, I can just reach down into my door jamb if I need to employ pepper spray in that situation. Oh my God, what was that? It was so itchy. So now as we talk about practical application of non-lethal, okay? There's some kind of thoughts and things we need to be thinking about. So when I classify criminals, I use high school sports, varsity, JV, freshman, okay? So when we talk about criminality, most varsity level criminals have already received a PhD in violence. And where do you think they receive that PhD? It's typically in prison. They've probably been OC sprayed before, riot control agent, things of that nature. All OC spray is, hey, I'm taking someone's vision off the table-ish, okay? It's a very effective tool, but we need to remember that anyone, given the right circumstances, if they want to kick your butt, they're still going to try to kick your butt, okay? So, you know, when we talk about this, one of the biggest things when we employ pepper spray is don't be where you just were. I cannot say that enough. There used to be a video floating around the internet for years. It was these two girls in high school sitting in a high school parking lot of, "You slept with my man." "No, I didn't," an argument. And in this high school parking lot, one of the teenage girls decided to pull out pepper spray and spray the other person. Now, it was effective taking vision off the table. All this girl did, with her eyes stinging and burning and couldn't see, she walked forward 3 steps. She reached out and grabbed this girl's hair, brought her head down here, and there went the orbital bone of just a fight ensued. It was pretty bad, okay? So the number one rule when we decide to employ pepper spray is don't be where you just were, okay? Typically how I accomplish this, whether it's using lethal force or non-lethal force, typically when I move dynamically, I am going to take 2 to 3 steps backwards, and then I'm going to write the letter J. That way I'm not where I just was, but I can still control the encounter. Now, when we talk about this, I only recommend 2 to 3 steps backwards. Because what do you think happens at step 4? And if you said on step 4 you're probably going to fall on your butt, I would agree with you. Human beings were not ergonomically designed to move backwards. We were designed to move forwards. So with this, I'm going to move 2 to 3 steps backwards, and I'm going to write the letter J, whether that's to the left or the right. But we might have some factors in that. So right here, I'm sitting in my driveway with my garage, is if I try to move to the left, I now have a physical barrier that's going to prevent me from moving to the left. So in this instance where I'm at, I could only move to the right. Now, each human has a direction that they just prefer, but also we might have some factors in this of environmental, okay? So I learned this from one of my clients who was a firefighter, and I learned just as much from my students as you guys learned from me. Right here in this alley, we have wind coming from left to right. So environmentally, if I engage this threat using non-lethal means or pepper spray, I always want to move upwind. That way my agent and the environmental factors are going to keep employing that agent where I want it, okay? So when you employ agent with environmental factors, wind's blowing left to right, I'm just not going to come up and aim right here. And when we employ pepper spray, it's across the eyebrows and down the face, or reversely, depending on which hand and where we kind of start with environmental factors. So for me in this instance with the wind we have today as I'm filming this, I'm probably going to aim about here. That way with the wind, it will blow it where I want it. And the minute I get across his eyebrows, I'm going to shoot down for his face. When employing pepper spray, you only need about a half second of agent in the right place. You don't need to sit there and press it down like the remote control or a squirt gun and just keep employing it. You can, right? But it's unneeded. And when we talk about the differences between pepper gel and pepper spray, it's important to realize most people under any kind of dynamic stress are probably going to overspray and not underspray. And with one of the cons of pepper gel is when you overspray, that gel has to evaporate in order to take effect on the target. Now, if we're carrying pepper spray as a self-defender, I highly recommend we have to practice with it just like anything else. So in my pocket right here, you can see I have my inert trainer that has water and a little bit of baby oil. I have both my rings. I know exactly where it needs to be indexed to be in my hand properly. That way I can disengage that safety up and then press down on the button to spray, okay? So just like I highly recommend dry fire practice of working on gun stuff, another thing we definitely need to be able to do is be able to work on drawing our pepper spray efficiently and effectively. So if we need that tool, we know how to properly employ it. What I see a lot of with the people that carry pepper spray, they might be buying it for a loved one, a spouse, something like that. They put it on a keychain and it's a security theater token on the keychain. It might be on the purse, okay? So however we decide to carry pepper spray, we need to be able to train with it so that we're efficient of, hey, just like a draw stroke on a gun, I can properly employ this, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate this here on Clyde. Obviously, Clyde, the target I'm using, has a firearm. That wouldn't be a pepper spray issue. That would be a firearm problem. But I wanted to use a human target just to show the effectiveness and kind of, hey, this is where we want to be able to spray. So I'm sitting right here, and number one, de-escalation is my first choice, right? I'm going to try to verbally de-escalate. I'm going to try to keep creating distance, but that person might keep encroaching that distance that I'm creating, right? And then at some point, he might communicate a criminal threat, okay? Or worse, okay? So at that point, hey, no, get back, stop. I am going to draw my pepper spray over the eyes, down the face. That's all it takes. And then the minute we do that, now I need to be able to move so I'm not where I just was, because, hey, freshman level criminal, they're probably sitting there going, oh my Jesus, this is the worst thing since sliced bread. Other people, when they get sprayed, you might entice their anger to a higher level where now they're searching to try to get a hold of you in order to hurt or cause great bodily injury to you, okay?